When you think of God, how do you picture him? I used to think that I could only go to God for super important matters, no small talk ever. Then I used to think that God was not very relatable because what does a perfect person have in common with me? See, understanding who God is, his character, is key to having a relationship. Hey, what's up? I'm Chelsea and welcome back to my channel where I discuss basic Christian discipleship fundamentals, everything that takes you from zero to hero in your relationship with God. It's hard to get to know someone that you can't see, but the good news is that God already knows everything about us and he's made it infinitely easy to get to know him. A couple things to remember is that God's character makes up who he is. This is character that is unchanging, so we can always rely on it, especially when we're in need. God never changes, so he's not going to be one way today and then another way tomorrow. He is always constant, and one way that we can be sure of this is through his characteristics. His characteristics include integrity. This means that he is honest and trustworthy. Imagine if you had a best friend who you thought was your friend, but they were one way in front of your face and then behind your back, they talk trash about you. That's not a very good friend. God is never going to be that way. In fact, he is always sincere with only your best intentions in mind. Another characteristic that God has is respect. God has respect for himself, meaning he doesn't lower his moral standards for anybody, nor will he allow himself to be mocked. He is also faithful, so that means that even when we fail, he cannot fail. He is perfect, so he can't make a mistake. So all of his answers will lead you down to the right path. This is because he also has wisdom and intelligence, two more characteristics of his. However, there are things that God cannot do. For instance, God can't change himself. So he can't go against his perfect nature. That would be like you and I trying to grow wings. It would be absolutely impossible. So it's impossible for God to go against himself. He also cannot not exist. He has always been and he always will be. So there was never a point in time where God never existed. He's always been there. God also cannot ignore sin, nor can he be tempted to sin. God has so many characteristics that I'm not going to listen to this video, but it is super important that you learn God's characteristics for yourself. So how do you do that? The first step is spending time with God. And how do you do that? You read the Bible. I recommend that you start in Genesis because this is our first introduction of God. So we learn things like his name, his personality, his likes and his dislikes. This is also where you're going to learn his involvement with other people and how he interacts with them. And never once will you see him yelling or holding grudges. He also has never brought about instant condemnation or instant judgment. He's always had a grace period first. You'll learn things about like what makes God happy, what makes him grieve, and things that please him. Learning the characteristics of God is absolutely crucial in order to get to know him, in order to hear from him and build that relationship. So for instance, if you're struggling to understand why God allows things to happen in your life, or if you're struggling to hear from God, maybe you're unsure of what's God's voice or what is your own, the chances are that you need to start with his character. From there, you'll be able to discern what is of God and what isn't, because God's voice will never tell you to do anything astray from his nature. So what is your favorite characteristic about God so far? Please leave a comment. I would love to know. Also, if you want to see more videos like these, I highly suggest you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.